Good evening on this Super Bowl Monday. The Broncos and the Panthers weren't the only two sports teams in action this weekend. Here on the Hill, SU women's basketball was looking for its fourth consecutive win as it looked to take the sting out of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. It was Women's Appreciation Day on the Hill. Syracuse wearing those pink jersey. 3 minutes in, Brittany Sykes finds Alexis Peterson for the easy two. Orange up 7-3. Now in the second quarter, Georgia Tech finding its legs. Antonia Parison knocks down the three Jackets, actually up 30-24 at the break. But in the third quarter, SU would get back into it. Alexis Peterson pulls up from the elbow, knocks that jumper down. SU within one at this point. In the fourth, the Orange took over. Cornelia Fondren makes the steal, and back on the other end, Alexis Peterson knocks in the three. SU wins 71-52 and gets its fourth straight win in the ACC. Moving to the gridiron, where a career marred by injuries has come to a close. Former Syracuse quarterback Terrell Hunt's collegiate career is now officially over. This afternoon, SU confirmed that Hunt's appeal to the NCAA for a sixth season of eligibility was denied. Hunt, a fifth-year senior, missed the majority of the 2014 and 2015 seasons with a broken leg and a torn Achilles tendon. The Rosedale, New York native finishes his time on the Hill with over 2,600 passing yards and 24 career touchdowns. The Broncos defeated the Panthers last night to win Super Bowl 50, but was that what most SU students took away from America's biggest sporting event? We sent our reporter KJ Vaughn out on the Hill to find out. Thanks, KJ. In not as fun NFL news, current Bill LaShawn McCoy and former Syracuse running back Curtis Brinkley are in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons today. According to a police report obtained by CSNphilly.com, Brinkley was with McCoy when McCoy got into an altercation with off-duty police officers at a Philadelphia nightclub on Sunday morning. Two officers suffered broken ribs in the incident. No arrests have been made in relation to the altercation at this time. And finally, in the NBA, the Knicks said see you later to head coach Derek Fisher earlier today, firing the second-year head coach after its team lost its fifth straight game. Fisher had no previous coaching experience when he was hired by team president Phil Jackson in June of 2014. And in his first season, Fisher led New York to an abysmal 17-win campaign. This year, the Knicks had shown some improvement, but New York currently sits in 12th place in the Eastern Conference. Former assistant Kurt Rambis will take over as Knicks head coach. Welcome in on the bench. He is Ben Stevens. I am Kevin Case, and we are in the midst of maybe the best sports week of the Syracuse year, possibly.
And Kevin, as the modern philosophers say, the hype is indeed real. Both SU men's and women's basketball in the Sweet 16 at the same time for the first time in school history.
Two basketball teams to get to. Let's start with Jim Boeheim's bunch. SU men's basketball began its NCAA tournament journey in the Midwest. The 10th-seeded Orange took on 7th-seeded Dayton out in St. Louis. Now remember, the Flyers knocked the Orange out of March Madness in 2014, but this time, the Cuse wouldn't let history repeat itself. Syracuse back in March Madness after missing out last season, and as you can tell, Jim Boeheim real excited about it. 8 minutes in, Dayton, though, coming out big. Big slam there by Charles Cook. Flyers up 6, but the Orange would come back to tie soon. 6 minutes later, Tyler Lydon with the smooth lay-in. We are all knotted up at 20, 6 minutes left to go in the first. Then back and forth we'd go. Tyler Roberson with a big boy slam, but Dayton would respond. Scoochie Smith from way deep knocks that down. Syracuse up 30-28 at the break. After the break, though, Orange got hot. Mike Benajay from behind the arc. 5 minutes into the second half, SU up 10. Then Malachi Richardson, he'd expand that lead with that three. And at this point, it's basically just a three-point party. 7 minutes left to play. Trevor Cooney from deep, that's good. This one got out of hand, and it would end pretty early. The Orange up 20 here. They go on to win 70-51 over Dayton. Malachi Richardson led the ranks for the Cuse in this one, pouring in 21 points before fouling out late in the second half. Tyler Roberson turned in a sterling performance as well, putting up his 7th double-double of the season. The junior needed just one more rebound in this one to tie an SU NCAA tournament single-game record. Cuse defense also performed admirably, holding the Dayton offense to a season-low 51 points. The win in this game meant SU would play another one. Ben? Heading into the fall of 2015, no women's team in SU history had won a national title. A few teams had gotten close. Syracuse field hockey made the Final Four in 2008 and 2012. then made the national title game in 2014, only to come up short against UConn. This year, Ange Bradley's bunch found themselves back in the NCAA final with another chance to earn its place in the Syracuse record books. Syracuse taking on UNC, the only team to beat the Orange this season. Let's pick it up second half. Carolina on the attack. Malin Ebert slaps this shot past the diving Jess Jecko. That ties the game at 2 with 15 minutes left to play. The Orange would respond on the penalty corner. Lees Lajoie to Zoe Wilson, who slams that shot into the back of the net. The Orange lead it 3-2. Then 5 minutes later, Orange back on the attack. Emma Russell slips it past to Emma Lamison, who knocks that one in. 4-2 Orange. SU 7 minutes away from a national title. North Carolina now scrambling to get something going. The Tar Heels draw a penalty stroke on this play, but Jess Jecko comes up huge. The senior out of Clinton, New York, in her final game in Orange, makes that big save, and that would do it. SU Women's Field Hockey is your 2015 national champion. Syracuse Field Hockey becomes the first women's team in school history to win a national title. In her final game, senior forward Emma Russell became SU's all-time leader in points, finishing her career with 140. Overall, the SU senior class goes out as the winningest class in program history. Russell and her fellow seniors conclude their SU careers with a remarkable overall record of 74-14. Citrus TV's own Seth Kwam was at the final in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Here in Pittsburgh, SU put forth a valiant effort in its first ACC game of the season, but ultimately the Orange faded when it mattered most. Syracuse scored just 3 points in the final 5 minutes, and the Panthers won the game 72-61.
We missed some shots. I mean, I thought we took a ball a couple of times to the basket. You know, you got to finish. I thought there was 2 or 3 layups that we'd missed, and you know, just so we ran the same stuff. We just couldn't get it done. Couldn't see that ball go in that rim. That's a tough thing.
They went on a 13-2 run that killed us. We didn't make plays at the end of the game. I think we did a great job the whole game, but we didn't make enough plays towards the end. They made baskets, they hit threes, officer rebounded against us, and we just didn't get the ball in the basket, and we had a couple unforced turnovers that really hurt us a little bit towards the end.
Combination ball. I mean, me getting fouled out didn't help either, so, I mean, I think it was a combination all. And we had them, but on to the next.
Coach Hopkins' first ACC game at the helm is also his first loss. It's also the first time SU has lost its conference opener since 2007. Reporting from Peterson Event Center, Kevin Case, Citrus TV. In a game that Syracuse had to have to cement its spot in the NCAA tournament, it all came down to a shot from right behind this three-point line. But Trevor Cooney's attempt clanged off the iron as the final buzzer sounded, and Syracuse was knocked out of the ACC tournament by Pittsburgh.
They doubled Mike and didn't let him get the ball. And I mean, we were trying to get to Mike and have him make a play, but got into my hands, and I should have made a better play.
Originally, we had a counter for if they tried to front me on out of bounds, and we just had people in the wrong spots, and the play kind of just broke down at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we're all competitors. We all obviously want to win really badly. And anytime you lose games like this, it's really tough, and especially to end the season there in the ACC tournament. We obviously wanted to go on a run here. We thought that we could, so it just sucks.
Now it turns into a waiting game for Coach Boeheim's bunch, and several players said after the game that waiting won't be easy. It's 4 days until Selection Sunday. Reporting from Washington, D.C. at the ACC tournament, Kevin Case, Citrus TV. Kevin Case here with head coach John Desko. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
All right, we'll get right to it. Your program graduated a lot of guys last May, a lot of talent. Guys like Kevin Rice, Bobby Wardwell, Randy Stotts. So coming into this year, how different is it around here without that class of 2015?
Well, very different. You know, we practiced for about 5 weeks in the fall, and the last few years, fall was pretty easy because everything was in place for the last 3 and 4 years. All those returning players, and they knew the offense, they knew the rides, they knew the man up. They knew all aspects of the game because they had such experience. And this year we looked at Dylan Donahue, and the other 5 guys are missing. They all graduated, at the offensive end. So it was different for us in fall ball, a lot of experimenting, a lot of getting to know the freshman players coming in, the returning players, and you had a couple transfers with Mariano and Paroli coming in. So a lot to figure out. We're still not there yet, even after 5 weeks in the fall. We've got a lot to do this spring, and that starts on Wednesday with 2-a-days.
You kind of alluded to where I wanted to go to. Lost the most really on offense. 5 of the 6 starters from that NCAA tournament in May are now gone. So besides Dylan Donahue, we know Dylan's ever consistent, always going to get his goals. Who are some other guys that we should be watching out for here come spring 2016?
Well, we're trying to figure that out. I think right off the bat, you've got Nick Weston coming back, Timmy Barber that were on the second midfield. Gail Thorpe redshirted for us last year. He's a freshman, a local player. His father coaches, assistant coach of the women's team. A number of players. Sergio Salcido is back. Let me look at my list here. You got Derek DeJoe's back, Ryan Simmons, Matt Lane, all guys that have gotten a little bit of time here and there. Ryan Simmons really came on for us at the end of the year last year. And again, our transfers, Mariano and Paroli, and I already mentioned Barber. Jordan Evans comes back with a lot of experience in the midfield too, working him on attack. So those guys are the guys that remind us. And then Carlin, Ford, McKinney all redshirted last year. I think I mentioned Sergio Salcido really had a good fall for us. And the freshmen, Sam Romano, Riley O'Sullivan, Kevin Hutchings, and Nick Martin have all made some impressions this fall.
Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of guys in the mix for playing time there.
A lot of guys. Now we really need the cream to rise to the top right now.
Yeah. Moving to the defensive side of the ball now, you guys return a little bit more experience there, particularly at close defense. Jay McDermott, Brandon Mullins, even guys like Rolf D'Agostino. Is it possible that this team maybe could have a little more of a defensive identity because you have more experience on that side of the ball?
I'd really like it too. And you mentioned those 3 guys with Bobby Tate. Cover about a couple of our polls return. With Fusco and Furman, and then Swigert came in from California, is doing a nice job in the pole position. Some of the closest defensemen could come up. I mentioned Nick Mellon in the press conference, along with Tate and D'Agostino and McDermott and Mullins. He had a really good fall for us, really athletic, and Helmer, Diltz come in, Bomberry has come in as freshmen. All going to be names that you're going to hear about in the future.
And behind that defense, you guys will have a new starting goalkeeper this year. You sort of spoke about it a little bit in your press conference, but is it expected to be Warren Hill at this point, or is there still a little bit of a battle going on as we've seen in years past?
Well, I hope there's a battle still going on. I think Warren definitely comes out with the edge over the fall. I think especially in the save department, he was really solid. He did it in practice. He did it in the fall scrimmages that we had down in Annapolis in our alumni games. So, he's played well this fall, and we hope he's going to continue through the spring.
All right, last one for you, Coach. With so many new faces in key roles, what are kind of the expectations for this team this year?
Well, I think, we talked about Ben Williams in the press conference, Cal Paduta, guys that I think that can get us possessions after goals on the face-off. So we're looking to get some possessions, trying to get more possessions to our inexperienced offense to give them more touches so that we can keep getting better as the year goes on. And then we want to be solid defensively. We don't want to give up any easy ones, no silly mistakes at the defensive end of the field. And then when there's a crack in the lining at the defensive end, we need Warren Hill to step up and maybe Evan Malloy to step up and make those saves when there is a little crack in the lining.
Thanks so much, Coach. Head Coach John Desko, thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you for having me.